We've all heard of the Wolfman, but what about the Dogman? In recent years, there's been a spate of reported sightings of a dangerous creature with a canine head that walks on two legs. And one man in Tennessee claims he's got video proving that the trendy legend is real. It's March of 2011. Scott Carpenter, a systems administrator for a small software company in East Tennessee, is conducting Bigfoot research in his spare time when his trail camera records this mysterious footage. It's a tough angle, but look at the upper left corner of the screen. Missed it? Scott himself didn't notice it until he got home and reviewed the footage. Then he made this enhanced magnification, and here, it seems like you can make out a dog-like head bobbing between the tree branches.
The movement caught my eye. You could literally see the nostrils opening and closing as it was taking breaths. And I did some research, called some people, and described what I had, and they're like, that's a dogman.
Field researcher Ken Gerhardt explains that while dogman encounters are relatively new, reports seem to be increasing rapidly.
There are popular podcasts where eyewitnesses will come on and tell about their stories or accounts or encounters. The encounters are often very chilling. Dogman is often seen feasting on roadkill. It chases and claws at automobiles as they go by. It's an utterly terrifying creature, whatever it is.
The dogman craze traces back to Michigan. A local legend about the half-man, half-hound first caught fire in 1987 and then blew up again in 2007 when a man named Micah Grusa recorded this now famous footage known as the Gable film. It starts out like an unremarkable home video, but then shows a creature crawling on all fours, then standing erect, and finally charging the cameraman.
The legend of the Dogman made people afraid to go into the woods. And I'm sure many 10-year-olds were scared to death by parents retelling the story around a campfire.
Now here's the thing. Micah Grusa has always been upfront about the fact that the Gable film was a hoax. That's Mike himself in a costume running at the camera. Pretty impressive that the dude can move like that on all fours. But the phenomenon of reported dogman sightings is very real, and Scott Carpenter swears his footage is proof positive. So what do our experts think? First, we took the footage to anthropologist Kathy Strain. She says that if true, reports of the dogman describe different behavior from what we see here.
Dogman is thought to be extremely aggressive, and if you're in their space, they will do everything possible to get you out of their space, including running you down. The video, I don't believe, shows a dogman because it would have tried to run Scott out of the area.
That prompted us to analyze the video more closely. And our main man, Michael Primo, saw nothing hinky with the source footage. But when he inspected Scott's enhanced magnifications, the pixels told a different story.
This recording has undergone some sort of change. The operator essentially stabilized this part of the video image and then applied what's called pixel interpolation or zooming. And I'm seeing symptoms of that here. Information may have been added to make something look subjectively better, but not objectively accurate. Based on the analysis that I've performed, I cannot authenticate these images, and I'm concerned about the opportunity to manipulate these pixels to represent something that wasn't originally recorded.
Since Scott Carpenter's enhanced videos cannot be considered reliable evidence, we are going to have to conclude this is a hoax. While the Gable film video and images like these may capture the imagination of those who want to believe in Dogman, the rest of us will just have to keep sniffing around for proof. On a sweltering July day in 2020, UK residents Meg Oxtby and Jeff Parlett are on a hike with their trio of Hungarian Vizslas, unaware of what they're about to witness.
We were walking along, just having a chat like we normally do, and then we noticed that the dogs were not moving.
At first, this looks like a photograph, but keep watching. The camera starts moving, and yet the dogs all appear to be frozen in their tracks.
We couldn't believe it. You could see the leaves moving and all the bushes, but the dogs were completely still.
I'm telling you, we are not freezing or slowing down this video. You can tell by the shrubbery right here that it's moving in the wind. Now check out how this dog has his leg raised and tail curled. And this other dog is frozen in mid-step. Look, it seems impossible to maintain balance like that. The three Vizslas stay in that position for 4 whole minutes before resuming their normal dog activity.
We were completely gobsmacked.
Ancient cultures from the Greeks to the Romans to Koreans all have myths about dogs having supernatural ability. The Mayans believed that dogs, known for being great swimmers, swam the souls of the dead across a shadowy lake to the afterlife. Forensic investigator Chase Klotsky wonders if something like that is at work here.
Are there like forces somehow making them stop like that? It seems like a theory is that dogs have a spiritual side almost. They sense things like earthquakes, illness, even death sometimes.
Recent studies have explored whether dogs have some sort of sixth sense to communicate telepathically. Meg and Jeff concur. Their dogs seem to have some kind of canine ESP.
They knew what they were all doing and they knew how long to stay still for. So it's just amazing how they can communicate without actually speaking. So that side of it is kind of magical, really.
Ugh, that was me trying to freeze for just 5 seconds. It's impossible, I'm too twitchy. So forget about 4 whole minutes. It's clear these dogs can do some amazing things, right? But can they really freeze themselves in mid-step? Let's take the video to our experts. Zoologist Roxy Furman considers whether a supernatural force may have terrified the dogs into a form of paralysis.
Dogs definitely do freeze when they're afraid, so there could be something that's made them scared, but there's nothing else in their body language that indicates fear. Their ears are up, their tail's up. Vizslas are hunting dogs, but I don't think that they can be that still for the entire duration of a 4-minute video without kind of any movement. It looks like it's been edited in some way to me.
Compare this other video of hunting Vizslas with Meg and Jeff's. You can see these other dogs don't maintain their posture as well or as long. So maybe Roxy's right. Meg and Jeff's dog video can't be real.
So there are apps that can be downloaded on these mobile devices that can animate certain areas of a picture while preserving other areas frozen in time. Although these apps can deceive a viewer, we found no evidence to support that this file was manipulated or slowed down or frozen in any way.
So this is, in fact, real. Still, biology professor Floyd Hayes believes this is just the product of centuries of breeding.
This is a behavior that is selectively bred for in several breeds of dogs, although it is reinforced in dogs by training. In fact, they actually can be trained to lift a paw above the ground when they are pointing.
Hayes may be onto something here. At the end of the video, we do see the dogs unfreeze as soon as a bird flies away. But here's the catch. Meg and Jeff say they have never trained their dogs to behave like this.
We teach them, sit and stay, but this was something on a completely different scale and something that I can't see being taught to them whatsoever.
Our verdict? This is still an animal anomaly. These 3 Vizslas really did freeze in place for 4 minutes. And if Meg and Jeff truly didn't train them to do this, how they stopped time is still a doggone mystery. October 16th, 2021, in the suburbs of Phoenix, Arizona. A security camera in Jason and Tara Doyle's living room is monitoring the couple's 2 dogs safely crated. The clip records the dogs barking incessantly at an unseen stimulant. Then at the 22-second mark, they suddenly stop in unison and remain perfectly still, almost as if listening for something. Now, just before the clip ends, watch Kira, the black dog. Her collar suddenly unlatches itself, and then she either jumps back in fear or, observers have said, was thrown back by some force. Take another look as we slow down and zoom in. The collar comes off, and for whatever reason, Kira hits the side of the cage. Jason came home later that afternoon and instantly knew something was wrong.
I pulled up our home security, internal security cameras and was like, wow, that's really creepy. And then immediately sent the video to Tara and be like, so, take a look at this, honey. Kind of weird.
And this wasn't the first time Jason and Tara experienced unexplained activity in their home.
There were times where, like, the dog would stare at a blank wall in the corner of a room. Like, nothing over there. Wasn't, like, sniffing or licking or anything. And then, 5-10 minutes later, walk away.
While the question of whether this dog acted as a medium of sorts can be debated, the idea that dogs can perceive things humans cannot is a scientific fact.
Dogs and cats will know when a natural disaster is about to occur before we do. Also, people who have cardiac disorders or seizures, they will often have service animals with them who can sense changes to their physiology that allows them to help keep their owners safe.
There have also been stories of dogs howling when a person is on their deathbed, seemingly indicating an ability to sense the onset of death or perhaps the presence of spirits. In fact, their sense of smell is 50 times stronger than ours, with some 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses.
Blood sugar levels, cancer, COVID-19, bed bugs. These are all things that dogs can sense and identify.
Does this sixth sense give dogs like Kira the ability to see ghosts or spirits? The American Kennel Club states so much of animal behavior is uncertain that the possibilities of a dog sensing something a human can't is not out of the question. But what can our experts see? First things first, could this video be a hoax? Our resident video forensics expert, Michael Primo, says the video has been reprocessed several times, but not intentionally manipulated.
We have the version that was uploaded to TikTok and then put into Premiere Pro and then extracted from Premiere Pro. That's 3 potential encoding stages that affected the original digital evidence integrity. One particular indication is these interlacing artifacts we see here on the animal as it begins to move. This is a result of processing the video several times.
So how to explain the collar coming unfastened? Theoretical physicist Professor Michio Kaku has a guess.
It seems that the collar was connected to something. And so as soon as the dog moved, the collar came off because it was stuck. Perhaps there was a string, a latch, connecting it to one of the wires in that cage.
But looking again and blowing up the footage, we can't see any evidence of this, though of course the video quality is poor. And Kaku acknowledges dogs do have something like a so-called sixth sense that humans lack.
We use eyesight in order to gain knowledge of the environment. Dogs use smell and sound, and their nose is much more sophisticated than our nose, and the amount of gray matter devoted to smell is huge. They have a way to detect things that we are just totally oblivious to.
Our verdict? We're gonna call this one unexplained. We can't say one way or another what went on in that cage. If it was a loose thread that got caught, how was it able to completely unlatch the collar? And what was going on when Kira just froze? The only one who will ever really know what happened here is Kira.